Enough of the documentary humor. Let's go to some funny stuff. Now, do you remember about, I think it was a month ago, there was a lady who passed away. She lived in Beverly Hills. And her wish was, in her will, that she wanted to be buried in her Ferrari. That was in her will. Today, the lady got her wish. Her name was Sandra Eileen West. She was buried in San Antonio, Texas yesterday.
That's for the town, not the burial.
I don't know whether they're applauding death or San Antonio. No, but it's true. She wanted to be buried in her negligee, seated in the front seat of her baby blue Ferrari with the seat tilted at a comfortable angle. And she got her wish. Now, that's a little weird, isn't it? But I guess they had to honor her last request, and it was a lovely ceremony. I understand everybody cried as they lowered the Ferrari into the grave, and car radio was playing, "Is That All There Is?" Burial cost $9,000, which, when you think about it, was worth it just to get a perpetual parking space. There were, I understand, a couple of minor problems that delayed the burial for a while. First of all, the inspectors, federal inspectors from the Federal Drug Administration showed up, and they wanted to check Mrs. West's nightgown to make sure it didn't contain tris. You'll probably be reading about that one of these days in the paper. Now it turns out that the Ferrari may have to be dug up. President Carter just declared the Ferrari a gas guzzler. And by 1980, the president says he wants everybody buried in Honda Civics. It was a weird ceremony. The pallbearers were Uni, Roy, and Al. When you think about it, it's a wonderful opportunity. St. Christopher finally gets to see one of his statues close up. Well, she was a little, I don't want to say, yeah, she's a strange lady, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
She also left a stipulation in her will that every 6 months, a Texaco attendant has to show up and rotate the tombstone. Buried in a Ferrari. It's kind of wild. Can't you see her at the pearly gates with St. Peter kicking the tires to see if he'll let her in? Anyway, Muhammad Ali is with us tonight, and I want to say right at the top... I want to say right at the top of the show how much I enjoyed that wonderful fight he had with Alfredo Evangelista the other night. I want to say it at the top of the show because I want to be around at the bottom of the show. So I want to say that now. We also have crazy man Steve Landesberg with us. Peter Falk is here tonight. And Carl Sagan. So it's a great show, and we'll be right back. Right after this message. And we have returned. Good show tonight lined up for you. A lot of good people on the show tonight. Carl Sagan will be with us later, who's written a fascinating new book about the speculations on the evolution of intelligence. We have Steve Landesberg, who was slightly off the wall. Peter Falk is with us.
He speculates on intelligence.
And incidentally, I want to mention the Doc. This Saturday and Sunday is going to be appearing with the Oregon Symphony at the Civic Auditorium in Portland, Oregon.
How about that?
Go on home.
Go on home. That's right. What was what's the little town in Oregon that is your hometown?
I beg pardon?
What's your hometown, not Portland?
Oh, no, Arlington, Oregon.
Arlington, Oregon.
It was a total population of 601 people.
601 people?
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that.
It's gone downhill a little bit. About 300 right now.
My first guest tonight, incidentally, there's a new motion picture out, and the advertising says, I got to read this to get it right. It says, quote, winner, loser, lover, loudmouth, the man, unquote. The film is the greatest, and the man, of course, is the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
getting old.
That makes two of us.
We're getting old.
See, they even love you after that fight.
The main thing is win.
Yeah? No, you won the fight. Now, we've known each other how long?
Sometimes you do it by 1 point, sometimes you do it by 10-round knockout. But the main thing is the win.
You got to win the fight. Now, we've known each other. You've been on the show. The first time, I think, was 8 or 9 years ago, something like that?
Something like it.
Yeah.
Your hair was black then.
My hair was...
I dyed mine.
Now, come on. Now, let's be honest. That was not your best fight the other night. You've boxed a lot better than that, haven't you?
Right. Well, we all look a lot different as time goes by.
I heard what you said to Cosell that night.
You used to look so nice on television, and this piece was real thin, and the wrinkles weren't there, and your hair was black, and Johnny Carson. Now you look like a woman.
I knew your style. I knew you were going to turn this whole thing around on me.
We all changed.
You did lay a pretty good one on Cosell the other night before the fight. He was kidding you, and he said, Cosell says, don't you have a little unnatural wrinkle around your stomach? And you looked at the top of his head and says, well, a lot of us carry around things that are unnatural. Cosell didn't bring it up again. You know, a lot of people, I saw the fight now, and a lot of people think you're one of the best fighters that's ever lived in the world. Now, you were covering up a lot during the whole fight. Now,
one thing,
what's the strategy there?
I'll tell you one thing
Here we go.
that people don't understand. This boy was 22 years old.
Right.
I'm 13 years older. Now, when I fought Sonny Liston when I was 22, I'm sure I would have gotten to him with about 25 punches as one.
Yeah.
But that was 14 years ago. It's a miracle just to still be on the top right now. 14 years ago. I mean,
That's something I know, Did you know that Evangelista had another fighter in his trunks at the same time?
I thought, see, the reason the people were so disappointed, this guy's unknown.
Right.
He's a good little fighter, but he's unknown.
Did you think he was good?
I know he was good.
Yeah.
I was in there 15 rounds with him.
Well, I know, I saw it.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I fought a guy named Jimmy Young in that same ring in Landover a year ago. I was criticized. Who's Jimmy Young? Now they think Jimmy Young can beat me. I fought another guy 5 years ago named Ken Norton. He was a nobody. Cosell them didn't even want to show it on TV.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they think he can beat me. So unknowns, see, and what they played Dwayne Bobbitt when he fought Norton. I was even thinking he may win. They had me so brainwashed.
Yeah.
And it was just nothing. It was no match at all. He was like a little old boy trying to fight his daddy.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a great fight.
But at least he knocked Bobby out in 58 seconds.
That's what I'm trying to say. But Bobby was supposed to be the favorite.
Yeah.
Not with a lot of people, I mean, without the experts. But what I'm saying is that you never can tell what's going to happen in a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And then do you think I would go in the ring and labor for 15 rounds for the fun of it?
Well, no, but you got $2.75 million, didn't you?
Yeah.
I would go in with you for $2.75 million.
Who would be your beneficiary? who would collect?
You got a point. I'd join that lady in her Ferrari, but now look, let me ask you a question now. You did a lot of this
Let me tell you why.
in the corner and just stood there like
Let me
this.
tell you why I did it.
That's why I'm asking
Tell
you.
the pilot how to fly the plane
Okay,
through the
now.
storm.
Why did you do
I
that?
see a plane in a thunderstorm now, and the man's flying a certain way, and you're like, don't be flying over there,
Okay.
fly over here. Yeah.
Okay.
The man had a lot of energy. The man was young.
Yeah.
The man... You're laughing like you don't believe
No,
it.
I'm not. I'm just looking at you. Yeah, he's 13 years younger.
No, let me tell you. The man had a lot of energy. And for me to, let me teach you. See, you all don't know about boxing.
Oh, come on. I used to box in the service.
What you box, oranges, cigars? Well, look, you are the last man that I would expect to give me hell. You are a nice man. Every time I come on your show, I never worry about Johnny Carson. I don't even get prepared for tricks and questions.
I wouldn't trick you
and
with
all
any
of a sudden
questions.
you're attacking me. Why would you do
Now,
that?
show me what you're... Because I want...
Why did you change this?
Because I wanted to see you better the other night. I wanted it because I know what you can do.
Well, you know what I could do.
Yeah, now tell me show me what the problem was, why you did that.
Not do what I want to do.
Yeah. Okay, he's young, so you wanted him to expend his energy, right?
That's right, and he did. And when the last three rounds were critical. I had to keep moving and close the show. I mean, for the last 3 rounds, and mainly the last round to go by and you lose it, in the minds of the judges, he's losing the people.
Right.
You have to win the fight on the end. All right, so letting him burn all this energy. See, the worst thing for heavyweight to do, or any fighter, is to blast away at a man and ain't nothing coming through that's really hurting him, and you're tiring yourself out, and then he comes back and gets you later. So going into that rope-a-dope, here's a young boy going for the world title, think he's got the champion hurt. Right. Oh, I got him. He goes crazy, and he punches her head, and he all here.
I got it.
Look, after 4 or 5 rounds, he's tired.
Yeah.
And in the end, I was 35 years old, and I was doing the dancing.
And he was still 22.
I was doing the moving. He was a tired 22.
Now, what would you do? How would you, suppose you were fighting Norton or Jimmy Young, and they did this. What would you do?
I'm not going to tell you what I'll do.
How would you get through there?
I can't tell you. There's a way to get through.
Huh?
But if I tell you, they hear it, and then next time I do it, they'll do it.
They'll do that. What a con man you are. We're going to be back. Let me sell some ketchup, and we'll be back. Now a message from Heinz Ketchup.
You want to see some real ketchup?
No. We're back. If you just joined us, we're talking with an aging fighter, ladies and gentlemen. You and Cosell good friends?
Johnny, he gets paid for being an idiot. What's your excuse?
You're going to turn on me, huh?
Something. I'll never, let's talk about something else.
Okay, let's talk about your picture. It opened last night, called The Greatest. And from what I read in the papers, even in the trade papers today, the picture got very good reviews, and you particularly got good reviews as an actor. Did that surprise you?
Yes, it did, because I've never acted in front of a motion picture. I mean, with a prepared script. I mean, making a movie.
Right.
I've always been acting all the time.
Yeah.
But never that type acting. I'm surprised that so far it's looking good and the people like it.
Yeah.
I think it could be better. It feels funny watching yourself. I think it could be better, but...
Think it'd be better? If you had to do it again, would you do it a little differently, or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have an acting coach at all, or somebody?
No. We was talking about going to some school or something for a few weeks, and the Tom McGuire who passed, they didn't want me to think about it, just be natural.
And that's what all the reviewers said was good about it, that you were natural in the picture, because basically it's the story of your life.
I didn't know my script. We would, for an example, if we were going to do something today and we had to do these 2 pages, I would have to check it about an hour before we do it. And then I go over with who Ernest Borgnine, John Marley, whoever we're working with, and then we rehearse it, and then we go do it.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, I wouldn't know what I was going to do until I got there. So I didn't. I just came right out.
Well, that's not a bad way to do it.
I don't think I could play another character that easy. Being myself wasn't hard for me. They say being yourself is hard, but it's easier for me.
Yeah. Would you like to? Now, how about playing a motion picture where you had to play another character?
Then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be an actor.
Really?
I like real life drama.
Your personal physician said the other day that he thought you ought to quit fighting because he didn't think your heart was in it anymore.
Well...
Was that an accurate quote?
Well, not like it used to be, but I know myself better than he do. I'm good for about 2 more.
2 more fights?
Maybe 1 more, maybe no more. I'm still deciding. If the pitcher do like I want to do, no more.
But if somebody says, hey, we got to fight for a couple $1 million, would that...
No, not just $2 million. That ain't enough. Not just 2.
Yeah.
Got to come at least 3.
About 3, huh?
To skip me, just got to start talking 3.
Can I ask you a personal question? Now, don't take offense, because it's been in the papers.
What?
Forget it. It's not important. It wasn't as important as I thought it was. No, a lot of people said you're fighting because you had some marital problems and there were a lot of expenses and so forth.
Well, that ain't, I don't put it on just that. I'd rather not go into that.
Okay. I would understand that, though. Okay. Let's get back to your picture. We got a couple of film clips. Is it one film clip?
No, just one piece.
One piece of film, and I guess it doesn't need any introduction, does it?
Liston Waves.
Oh, this is when somebody said that you're, or before the Liston fight, that you were...
Walked in his saloon in Las Vegas. He was gambling, and caused the stir that actually happened.
You were trying to bait him a little bit and get a little
talking up the fight.
publicity going for the fight?
Yeah.
Okay, watch the monitors. Here's a film clip from The Greatest.
Liston! I've been looking for you all over. I bet you all the money you got right here, right now. Right now, I'll knock you out, sucker. You are nothing. You are nothing. You hear me, you gambling sucker. I'm talking to you. You can't duck me forever. You can't duck me forever. You know who I am, Floyd Patterson. You knocked him out once, you knock him out again. I got something for you. That's right, everybody's watching.
I don't never see you with no ladies. You are.
No ladies. I see you got two pretty ones here. That's why you gonna get whooped, sucker. You keep them with you.
Embarrassing colored folks.
Embarrassing colored folks. As ugly as you are, you the heavyweight champion representing us looking like you look. Stand up your
Cassius Clay is in town. I'm serious. This is no crank call. It's no joke. Cassius Clay is in town. As a matter of fact, I'm looking out the window now. He's outside Sonny Liston's house with a bunch of men on the bus. Yes, they were all colored. Well, I don't like to say that, but they are on. Yes, it's going to be trouble. I don't really know. He's not here to play checkers, so I'm calling you now. Call the police or get the newspapers because you have a scoop.
Did you really do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, see what happened.
Wait a minute. I just asked him now, did you really did those things?
Yes, we at the time, Floyd Patterson, Nino Valdez, Zoe Foley were top contenders. I realized that promoters wanted to wanted to make the title fight with whoever could draw the most people. So right away, I saw Gorgeous George, these wrestlers, how great I am, how pretty I am, and people came to see him get beat. I said, this is a good idea. So I started talking around about, and I called up the press. And I drove my bus from Chicago to Denver, Colorado, where he lived at the time. And I called up and pretend I was a lady, and this bus is out here, and you better call the police. It's going to be a riot. And all the police came, and then the press came, and then I went out with my bus and drove it in his yard and had a big loudspeaker call, and he threw rocks at the bus. And anyway, it got a lot of publicity. After 6 months of campaigning, then the promoters had to come to negotiate.
Now, with that business in the casino there,
That was we thought he had a pistol. He was told I was coming. The promoter set it up, but I didn't know it. And he had a real pistol with blanks in it. And after I ran my mouth about 5-6 minutes, he turned around. Pow, pow.
scattered it, cleared the place out pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, man. And that really happened.
That's funny. Hey, I wish you great success with the picture. Now, what are your plans now? Have you got another fight scheduled? Where do you go from here?
A place called Senegal in Africa in 2-3 more days. And then we have another fight maybe with a fellow named Ernie Schaefer, the number 4th ranked heavyweight in the world.
Right.
I'm looking at a couple more movies. Something else I will say too. In my movie there, you see, can you put your camera close up on this right here? Can you get
what do
this
you got
on your
there?
camera? This is a
Flip you one
beautiful.
over here. Here,
this is
Ellie.
a beautiful, special-made car. It's gold inside and outside, 14 karat. And my friend at King's Speed Shop in Lansing, Illinois, designed this car for me, and I named Bud Heineman. And I want the people to know that this car is going to be on display in different car
Is that
shows
your own
coming
personal
up.
car?
Yes, I designed it, and it's going to soon. It's going to go on sale for the price I can't say yet.
Yeah. You don't leave that parked out on the street at night, do you?
No, I don't. I keep it there in Lansing at the speed shop, and they do everything to cars there. And anything, want your car fixed up, take it back. I saw your car outside.
I should take it over there, huh?
It needs waxing.
Needs waxing? Okay, Chad. Thanks for coming. I always enjoy to admire you. Take care of yourself. Good luck in the movie.
One of a kind.
You can't deny he is a charming guy, really.
And he's good in that film. I saw it last night. He's a good
what people
actor.
say.
He really is.
Okay, we'll do this. We'll be right back. Peter Falk is here, Steve Landesberg, and Carl Sagan. Stay with you. Okay, we have returned, and we are here today. Mr. Cool.
Oh, boy.
I got one of those pills in to give me tonight, you know.
Have you?
Yeah, to settle me down. Shame to waste them on pain. My next guest is probably one of the most popular and best-known actors, I would guess, in the entire world. From motion pictures and television. The star of Columbo, of course. And this Sunday on NBC at 8 o'clock, it's going to be an episode of Columbo called, I got to read this. This has got to be a dandy. The Bye-Bye Sky High IQ Murder Case. And he's also starring in the new Neil Simon film called Cheap Detective. Mr. Peter Falk. Well, yeah. Will you bring your school notebook?
I never look at it, I promise. How are you, John?
I'm fine, Peter. How are you?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, I didn't think I was going to get here.
Oh, why is that?
I just got off a plane. Who are you talking like?
I don't know. Every time I'm around you, I start, it's about 3 o'clock, wasn't it? Yeah. Where'd you get off from? Oh, it's all right, yeah. Well, where'd you get off the plane?
No, I come in from Boston, but I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it? What's happening in Boston?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. I feel like I'm in one of your episodes already. How many Columbus do you do a year now? 4? 5?
This year I did 4.
Did 4.
Did 4 this year.
It's a good show. That is a super show.
Thank you very much, John, very much. You know, it's just that it's been so long since we've had one on the air, a couple of months interval, you know, so that there's, as John said, there's a new one this Sunday night. This is a fresh one. This one's never been picked before. I mean, this is not a rerun. This is
It's a
fresh
relief.
off the tree.
First one, huh?
First time out. First time out. And it has to do with a kind of interesting, something I never heard of. You heard of it. I mean, they told me that you heard of it.
Mensa?
Yeah, he heard of it. There's a society that I never heard of. It's called Mensa. And in this world, there are 20,000 people that belong to this Mensa. And they have chapters in every part of the globe. And I didn't know what in the hell it was. And it turns out that there is only one qualification that is required in order to become a member of this Mensa. And the qualification is this. You have to be in the top 2% IQ, that's brains. If you got the top 2% in the world, then they'll take you in. If you're 2.5%, you're not good enough. You're out. So that's what this society is. And the thing about it is that the same question must occur to you as occurred to me, and it certainly occurred to Columbo. These people get together, they hire a hall or a house, and they have a meeting.
Right.
And then the question is, what do they do when they get there? And they don't do anything. Nothing. They get together and they talk. I mean, they just share each other's company, and that's the whole thing. And so we've got a new producer, a terrific guy. I don't know if you remember a show called The Price of Tomatoes, but it was a pretty popular show years ago, and his name is Dick Simmons, and he wrote that. And we got very, very lucky, and Dick is with us. He's writing and producing the show.
Based on a mythical group like Mensa.
Yeah, but it's for real. I mean, they actually meet, you know.
And they have to have, he's right, they have to, I've had a couple of people on the show who were members of that occasionally, and the IQ, I know somewhere is probably up around 150 or 160.
Right.
Something like that, and they get together and they just discuss literature or, I guess, all kinds of subjects, but they're very, very bright. And I don't know, as a matter of fact, did Shirley send away for this? We wanted to find out. And when we found out about this, we called the Mensa Society, where it was in Brooklyn, and they were kind enough to send us some questions. Believe this is for real, from what they call their mini test. And I have not seen them, believe it or not. They are sealed in this envelope, which is, no, this is not a Karnak, no. This has been on a sealed, these are actual, who has the answers? Fred de Cordova has the answers, and we thought it might be fun to see what kind of questions they ask people in this group. Would you like to go for this?
Let's do that.
I have a feeling I'm going to be terribly embarrassed when we read these questions. And if anybody in the audience knows the answers, don't tell us. Let's just for the fun of it. This is real.
This is the real thing.
This is no joke.
And the Colombo episode takes place. One of these Mensa guys murders another Mensa guy, so you can see who Colombo's up against, you see?
All right, it says, this is Mensa mini test. I'm just going to read what they have here. Available to the public with answers. The regular intelligence test can be gotten by contacting Mensa, but answers are never divulged, only the grade that one receives. Good Lord. Here's the first question.
Well, I can't see it.
All right, I'll read it to you, okay?
All right, read it.
Which one does not belong? It's one of those jobs, right?
Oh, we have one of those on the show.
Do you?
Yeah. We do. Honest.
Well, maybe this will be it. Which one does not belong? Chess, bridge, go, mahjong, backgammon. Which does not belong?
Well, chess is a game and mahjong is a game, right? And what's the other one?
Bridge, backgammon, and go.
Well,
Go is a game also, is it not? Okay, which one does not belong? Chess, bridge, go, backgammon, mahjong. I would say bridge.
I'm going to say bridge, too.
I would say bridge.
Yes, I'm going to say bridge, too. I'm going to say bridge, too.
Now, let's give our...
And I know the reason why. I know the reason why.
Don't...
I never thought I could get into
Hey, we got-
society.
First one we got right.
Bridge does not
Bridge is
belong?
right.
Okay, now here's number 2. Which one does not belong? Dada, abstract expressionist, pointillist, dodecacophonic,
What was that, John?
dodecaphonic, cubist.
Well,
All right, now, these are all kinds of paintings, obviously, schools of paintings. The Dada school of painting, abstract expressionist, pointillist, dodecaphonic, or cubist. Which does not belong? Oh, boy.
Let me take a look at that, John. What the hell is it here?
Number 2.
Oh.
How do you even manage to see to the glasses?
I only have to keep one clean.
Oh, I see. That I never even thought of. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know the answer to that. So
I'm afraid...
maybe they're all a French school and one of them is not a French school. Could that be the answer? But which one is which?
No. Cubism, it was
I'll take a guess, John.
Brock, Picasso. I would say
Yeah,
dodecaphonic.
this one here. Yeah, maybe that's music.
I would say
Dodecaphonic.
dodecaphonic.
That's it.
That's right?
Yeah.
Is
A,
everybody...
B, C, and E are
right.
painting techniques.
Yeah,
The
right.
word dodecaphonic means 12 tone.
Yeah,
Dodecaphonic has to do with music, does it not?
music. Well,
Okay.
what were you sitting there quiet for?
Okay. Now here's the third one. Oh boy. If 7 belly dancers can lose 20 pounds altogether in 8 hours dancing, how many more belly dancers would be needed to lose a total of 20 pounds in only 4 hours of dancing, providing the new dancers shed weight only half as fast as the original 7? I don't care. Is the answer to that. Actually, I could figure that out if it would have...
Yeah.
That's algebra.
Yeah.
You let x equals so y equals then x plus y. No.
And the answer is?
I can't work it out in my head, but that's an algebraic equation.
Freddie says 6. Let's see what it is. The answer is 14 dancers.
14 dancers.
That's right.
Here's
I
another
thought
one.
you guys had some class. I thought you'd bring out the dances and we'd have a way of finding out, firsthand. Go ahead.
But actually, these questions belong to everything. You see, they're mathematics, there has to do with painting and so forth. Here's another one, quick one. Complete the series. CGQ R to VFR as TXHR2 VLG, BFY, or WMI, or NZD. Well, that again is one of those...
I didn't even hear it.
I don't even care either. CGQ, R2, TXR. That would be to TXH, R2,
You're doing very well.
WMI.
WMI is exactly right.
WMI.
Very good. You got 3 out of 5. 3 out of 4. You got 3 out of 4, John.
The belly dancers.
Wait, no, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with you now. You did very well on their test. Now I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the puzzles that the guy on the show, on the Colombo show Sunday night, gives to Colombo.
Okay, can we do the commercial first?
Yep.
You give me the actual ones?
Yep, I'll give you the actual
Just the
ones.
clues, but...
No, I'll give you the actual puzzles that he gives me.
Okay. If you own a cat, don't move. Tender Fiddles has something to say. Peter was just telling me in this episode coming up at 8 o'clock on Colombo, that they actually give you the clues, or the viewers at home also the clues in this, right?
Well, what it is, John, is that, I come there to solve the crime, and the guy commits the crime,
Right.
and in the beginning, he doesn't take me too seriously, and he says, are you any good at puzzles? And Colombo says, I like puzzles, but I'm no good at them. So the guy says, well, try one. Now, let me see if I can remember it. The puzzle that he gave me was, he said, you got a whole lot of bags full of gold pieces. You can have any number of bags. They can be 2, 3, 5, 10. And each gold piece weighs 1 pound. But there are some bags that are full of counterfeit gold, and they weigh 1 pound and 1 ounce. And he gives me a scale, a penny scale.
Right.
And a penny scale means you put a penny in, and you stand on it, and the card comes out and tells you your weight. But you only have 1 penny. So you only have 1 opportunity to weigh. And he says, all right, here's the puzzle. You got all these bags. Some are counterfeit and some are real. Tell me which bags are the counterfeit and which are the real.
And you only
got
get a
1
chance
penny.
to weigh 1 bag.
That's right. And Colombo knows the minute he tells him how to do it. That's tough.
How many bags are there? It doesn't make any
Whatever
difference.
you want.
And you only get a chance to weigh 1 bag.
1 bag. Only
Find
1
out
bag.
whether one is... Well, it wouldn't make any difference.
What do you mean?
You could take any bag.
Yeah? How are you going to tell which ones are the real gold and which ones are the counterfeit? Say you got 10, and 3 are counterfeit and 7 are real. How are you going to know?
Well, you'd
that
know.
the 3, that 3 are, or that 2 are, that 1 is.
Your idea is to figure out how many bags contain the gold and how many bags are counterfeit.
How many bags contain the genuine gold and how many bags contain the counterfeit gold?
That, I don't follow that.
Well, tune in Sunday night.
I have an idea.
You have an idea?
Yeah, if you weigh them all at the same time and just count the ounces,
Yeah.
you would have it. There were 3 ounces over, you would have 3 bags were counterfeit.
Which ones?
Well, we would know that.
Well, that's what we want to find out.
You're on the right track.
All right.
You're on the
You're not
right
gonna
track.
tell us?
You
You're
weigh
on the
none
right
of
track.
them.
No, Sunday
Oh.
night. You find out Sunday night. Now, the other thing was, he gave me... What is it? What? You got it?
Yeah.
You take
Don't
them all.
don't say, please, I beg you. I beg you.
I got it.
Don't say. Don't say. Don't say.
I'd love to see a grown man whimper.
I beg you. Oh,
Okay, I won't say. Let's show the film clip.
Okay,
we got a
let's show
film
the film
clip. Watch this.
Lieutenant.
You buy that here?
No, I bought it in the donut shop because I was going to eat it in the elevator, but then I saw my friend here, and I'm really terribly sorry. Let me see. Let's see now.
I can come back.
No. I'll have a donut.
I knew it. I'm a donut. That's funny. We'll take a break. We'll do a break first. I don't want to find out what you were doing in Boston. We'll come right back. Before I bring Steve out, I mentioned Neil Simon's new play,
Thank you, Don.
The Cheap Detective. You played a detective, right?
Yeah. I played a detective, that's right.
Are you cheap? Is that why they call you the Cheap Detective, or is there another?
You know, that's a very good question, John. No, I mean that seriously. It seems like an obvious question, but it's a very good question. And it's because, you know, you get interviewed a lot, and you go on a lot of shows, and people ask you questions, and they're kind of silly or dumb, and it's a very good question.
Oh.
I'm not going to answer it.
Oh, I see. Have to go see that also, like the bags of gold, huh? Very shifty tonight. Nothing comes out.
The Cheap Detective, Doc Simon, he's done it again. What he's done, he's come up with a wonderful idea. He's written a movie which is a takeoff on all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. So he's got Casablanca and the Maltese Falcon and the
Big Sleep.
The Big Sleep, and to have and to have not, and he rolled them all into one. He's done a terrific job, and I don't know how he does it, but it's like all his other stuff. I mean, you know you got to hit before you even start. The cast read the thing the other night, and we just had to stop. We were laughing so hard. Can I mention some of the people that are in it? It's a fantastic cast. It is. And I wrote them all down, so I didn't want to forget anybody. But the Ingrid Bergman character is being played by Louise Fletcher, and the Mary Astor character is being played by Madeline Kahn, and there's Peter Lorre is in it, and there's Dom DeLuise, and Sidney Greenstreet is John Houseman, and Marcia Mason, and Ann Margaret, and Eileen Brennan, and Jimmy Coco, and Stockard Channon, and Nicole Williamson, and Fernando Lamos, and Sid Caesar, and Phil Silvers, and Paul Williams, and I think everybody, it's just...
Well, there's nobody left to go see the movie. Everybody's in it.
It's true.
Sounds wild. And he does beautiful things and a great cast. Let me do this. Steve Landesberg will join us right after this very short interruption. I know you have to run. I thank you for coming. Colombo, 8 o'clock, NBC, and we'll figure out the bags of gold.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete.
John.
Steve Landesberg is with us tonight. He cracks me up. He has a bizarre sense of humor. He's really a comedy actor, also stand-up comedian. He's going to be a regular performer on Barney Miller next season. Would you welcome Steve Landesberg? Stephen?
Yes, hello. I'm only kidding. That's the thing. I'm about to talk to you about a subject that is... Oh, I'm only kidding. I'm a jokester. I'm making jokes. Lately, I've been reading about a lot of American Indians who have been suing the government to reclaim their land. So I want to show you a guy who has done this already. He's got a little piece of land, and he's living there. He's an American Indian. He speaks in the language of Hollywood, and one day he's visited by the sheriff. I don't know what day, but... No. All right, you're under arrest. Singing in the nude. Now, how in tarnation you expect to live with white folks walking around like that there, Cochise? Not wish to live with vanilla men. Wear no clothing for religious reason. Spend 5 years at Yeshiva University. Well, you got a very unusual background there, Tonto. Wise up, snowboy. My name Dwayne. All right, now don't go getting uppity on me. I'm Bubba Lee Harper, former Major League Baseball great and sheriff over there in Sunwater County. How come you quit baseball, Bubba Lee? Too many colored boy? And I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. I ain't got a prejudice bone in my body. I played ball with boys. I never cared about nobody's color, as long as they didn't use my towels. Now, I got this here dossier on you. Says you ain't from these here parts. Just where do you hail from? Norway. My father, great chief, could not get work in land of shaft. He go abroad, sell pornography to deep-sea fishermen. Great chief say, Tana sakanawata. That mean, man at sea a long time grow big horns. That's true. That's a fact. That's true, isn't it? You know, I got to ask you a question. Believe me, I can't figure how can you stand living up here all by yourself? I mean, you're all by lonesome. How can you stand it? Have two hobby. Occupy entire day collecting speeches of Chief Ed Davis and sucking wood. Suck wood, eh? I'll tell you something. You can believe, in a way, I envy you. That's a fact. I tell you what's going on in this country. The whole country's falling apart. I heard me a song the other day on the radio. Made me rich. Made me rich. Spitting on the flag. Spitting on the flag was disgusting. Most disgusting thing I ever heard. It's catchy, though. Yeah, I tell you something, you can't walk around this country. There's crime on people killing each other all over this country. Not in Sunwater County, though. See, I got my own solution for murder. That's right, I can look a person in the eye and see whether he's gonna kill somebody. I saw me a potential murderer the other day up in the woods. I hung him. He'll never kill nobody. You can't walk the streets. I tell you, everything is massage parlors, prostitution, all is everywhere. I give you an example. I was up in New York City about a week ago. I was up there for the Bullet Convention. And I was standing outside the hotel when these three little girls come at me. I thought it was the Supremes. I asked them to do a number. Cost me $500. Yes, and I was only kidding.
Yes.
I was kidding.
All in good fun.
You know, actually, when I first did that, I had some guys, when I was doing it in New York, some Indians came in. I don't remember what tribe they were. They were from upstate New York, and they were going to tell everybody, all the other tribes, to watch it. And they did.
And
they did. That's all I have to say.
They didn't get angry.
I just wanted to say, no, they liked it. Oh. That's what I was saying.
Okay. All in fun.
All in fun.
we'll be right back after
only
this.
Kidding.
All in fun, folks. But seriously, folks. One question I wanted to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Ali was out here. Did you happen to see that fight?
I always watch the freebies.
Yeah.
I paid for a few, but I saw that one. I saw Evangelista. I saw that. He's had a lot of freebies. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, he had one with Ron Lyle, who had done some time. He was ex-con, and he came out, and he had a little trouble with Lyle.
Yeah.
And then after the fight, Lyle's manager, if you remember, or trainer, Chicky Ferreira, one of the greats was very angry. He said, how can they stop the fight there? The man, it's a championship fight. The man didn't go down once there. A champion, whoever heard something smells bad here? And then Howie Cosell. Howie Cosell was talking to Ron Lyle, who had some domestic difficulty that week.
Yes.
And he said, what happened, Ron? He said, I didn't shoot nobody.
Yeah, that was a little marital problem, I think.
That's what it was. Then there was another one about a year or two ago with Richard Dunn, the English heavyweight.
Yes.
And he was bouncing. Dunn went down about 6 times in 2 rounds. And after the fight, I think he had the greatest quote of the century. He said, I'd like to fight him again. But first, I'd like to get kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah, Ralph, fight him again.
And this week...
That's exactly what he said.
I quoted him. And, of course, this week was classics. I mean, poor Dwayne. Poor NBC. NBC had to fill
their big event.
20 minutes of commercials and interviews with everybody. They had nothing to say. Dwayne Bobbick's aunt, well, Dwayne never could fight. I couldn't believe they had so much time that nobody had anything. His trainer, they had nothing to say. They said, yeah, well, Dwayne made a mistake. He made a few mistakes. He didn't follow the plan. That's what it was. Dwayne didn't follow the plan.
I love it. They showed the rerun of that thing
4 times.
At least.
More?
From different directions. Slow-mo, extra slow-mo.
Oh.
With gloves, without gloves.
Wayne.
Without Wayne there. Anybody. Close-ups. It was...
What a night.
Yeah. Big event, 58 seconds.
Yeah, I like that. You had a guy on a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about baseball, Bob Wolf. You were talking about the free agents.
Yeah.
Was that
yeah,
the
he's
lawyer?
The attorney. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me because there's guys making millions of dollars. And I think you made the point that you got to get it when it's like show business.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
You may
the
have 4
phone
or 5
starts
years,
it's
it's
over.
over.
And there are guys making millions of dollars who aren't that. Not all of them are stars or super, but they're free agents. There are other guys who are still under contract, and they got to be hurting a little because they're waiting. The guy, you're paying him that and you're paying me that? What the hell is that? You see what I done last year? The batting, the RB in the series. You wouldn't have won the World Series without me. The 3rd game, I got a batting out in the field. I went in the, roll the film, Julio.
Okay. We'll be right back. Carl Sagan has been with us frequently before. He's the professor of astronomy and space sciences at Cornell and the director of the Laboratory for Planetary Studies. And in the past, we've discussed everything from the Viking mission to outer space. But he's written a book now on a fascinating subject. It's called The Dragons of Eden, Speculations on the Evolution of Human Intelligence, which may sound heavy, but he makes it sound rather simple. Would you welcome Carl Sagan? Funny, we were doing the Mensa test out here, which had to do with intelligence a while ago. How do you define intelligence?
Well, it's different people differ, of course, on what it is, but you can tell often the difference between, say, a man and a mouse pretty easy, and that gives you a substantial insight into what it's about. I would say that as far as human beings are concerned, it's our ability to put a great many facts together, to understand the way the world really is, and to manipulate it, to control the environment. And if we could characterize it by how much information is in our heads, and if we do it that way, we find that there's only a few other organisms on the Earth that are close: dolphins and whales, great apes, our immediate non-human ancestors, and then there's a reasonably big gap to the other organisms.
What kicked you off in this direction?
Well, I didn't mean to write the book. It happened. I was asked to give a lecture in honor of a memorial of a man named Jacob Bronowski, who did The Ascent of Man, you know.
A wonderful series.
And I thought I would give it on a subject that was dear to his heart, how human beings became human, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to learn some new stuff, and I became absolutely captivated by it. I mean, it's connected with some things I'm interested in, the possibility of intelligent life on other planets. Surely we can learn about that by finding out how intelligent life came to be here. And also, since we're all human, we're interested in how we got that way. But once into it, the thing just occupied 2 years.
Absolutely fascinating book. My son Corey read it yesterday. I remember when I was going to school, they used to say the difference that separates the humans from the lower forms of animals was that men knew how to use tools and made tools for their work. And then that was kind of shot down when they found out that chimpanzees and birds and other animals do make rudimentary forms of tools and apparently have the intelligence to do that. So that myth was gone. What does it come down to, basically? I think you said it there, that man seems to be, as far as we know, the only species that's aware of his own mortality, or that he's going to die, and also can pass on a written history of what he has done to...
I think that's very important, the idea that we have information stored outside of our bodies. For most of the history of life on this planet, the organisms had almost all the information they had to deal with in their genes, hereditary information, instinct. Then, about maybe 100 million years ago, a little longer ago than that, there came to be a reptile that for the first time in the history of life had more information in its brains than in its genes. And that was a major step, symbolically, in the evolution of life on this planet. Well, now we have an organism, us, which can store more information outside the body altogether than inside the body, and that's in books and computers and television video cassettes. And that extraordinarily expands our ability to understand what's happening and to manipulate, control our environment if we do it wisely for human benefit. The whole idea of what happens when you read a book I find absolutely stunning. Here's some product of a tree with little black squiggles on it. Right. You open it up, and inside your head is the voice of someone speaking who may have been dead 3,000 years. And yet there he is talking directly to you. What a magical thing that is.
And then you store that, practically all of that information, consciously or subconsciously, because as you said, as people get older sometimes, I think one of the interesting things is they can recall things that are way in the past, elderly people, when they reach that point, where very often they may forget something that happened just a few minutes earlier.
There's a
people
problem.
say, well, they're drifting away, but they can recall things from childhood.
It's just a problem, apparently, in accessing short-term memory. We have some quite different sorts of memory, and the clearest distinction between short-term and long-term. A waiter in a short-order restaurant or waitress clearly remembers a lot of information, but for an extremely short period of time. I can't imagine that the waiter goes home and remembers the order of a week ago last Tuesday, but yet the total amount of information that went through was very large. Well, that's the short-term memory, and you can wipe it out. You can remove it.
Is it true? Of course, they're really now just becoming, the brain is so complex that they're not sure really completely how it functions. As you said, the weight of the brain versus the weight of the person has a lot to do with it in proportion to the size of the animal. And when you say reptiles have a small brain size, or fish practically nothing in relation to their body, has something to do with it. And yet, when Einstein died, I think they did a...
and they couldn't find anything remarkable.
They couldn't find anything remarkable about the brain. It wasn't any particularly larger than anybody else's brains. It didn't have any more convolutions in it or anything.
So, I mean, I think there's a lesson to that, and it's a reasonably important one. The lesson is that what distinguishes one human being from another in terms of intelligence is probably very little to do with the heredity and an enormous amount to do with the environment.
Well, how do you explain that? I didn't mean to interrupt you. How do you explain the geniuses? A Mozart who at 4 or 5 was composing or playing the piano. Now, if it doesn't come from something in the past, you know, where a child will sit down and all of a sudden, with no exposure, will be to do extraordinary things.
There's no doubt that there are extraordinary acts of genius which, and people do differ. I remember Tom Lehrer's remark about Mozart. He said, when Mozart was my age, he was dead 5 years. And Lehrer said that at a quite young age. But the thing that I find most striking is the enormous, remarkable capability of virtually every small child for learning. They start out eager, intellectually wide-eyed, asking extremely clever questions about the world. And then something happens, by and large, to discourage them. And I think it's a tremendous waste of natural resources. For example, a kid asks, Mommy, why is the grass green? And very often you get an answer like, oh, don't ask dumb questions, or who knows, when in fact it's an extremely profound question. And how much better would it be?
Why is the sky blue, or anything like that?
In both those cases, it goes to the fundamentals, in one case of biology, and the other of a kind of physics. How much better it would be to say to the child, that's a good question, Johnny. I don't know the answer. Maybe we can look it up. Or nobody knows. Maybe when you grow up, you'll be the person to find out. I think kids who are discouraged from asking those questions wind up learning the lesson that there's something bad about using the mind, and we lose resources. And we need those intellectual resources because we are in very perilous times. And I think the complex and subtle problems that we face can only have complex and subtle solutions. Right. And we need people able to think complex and subtle thoughts. And I believe a great many children have that capability if only they're encouraged.
You have an interesting chapter in your book when you talk about dolphins and the great whales, which you say are probably next down the scale as far as intelligence. And you said that dolphins are communicating. They may be saying things to us, and the only reason we don't understand is because we don't know how to interpret what they are saying. Is it possible that the dolphins could be saying, they're talking to us, but we just don't understand what they're saying?
I think there's a terrible kind of human chauvinism, which, we look at another animal. If he doesn't do precisely what we do, we say, my goodness, what a dummy he is. And you can see that most clearly in the studies that have been made of chimpanzees. Until recently, the kind of best study of the intelligence of chimps was you take a little baby chimp and raise it in the same house as a little baby, and you give them both identical high chairs and potties and bibs and all that. At the end of 2 or 3 years, the chimp was, of course, swinging from the rafters, tremendously good physically, dexterity, excellent, but can't say hardly anything, and the human baby is happily babbling away. From that, people said, oh my goodness, chimps are tremendously dumb, can't say anything. But 2 psychologists at the University of Nevada named Gardner had the idea, look, the pharynx and larynx of the chimp isn't good for language. Maybe there's a way which chimps could speak without using the voice. And they had the idea that Ameslan, American Sign Language used by mute people, would be good for a chimp. And so now we have something like a dozen chimps on the earth who have vocabularies in this kind of language of hundreds of words. There's a gorilla at Stanford said to have a 500-word vocabulary, not on the football team. And
this year. That's only because he's a freshman. Wait till he's a senior, he'll be playing. But is that imitation, Carl? I mean, is that you do a sign and you show the animal what that is? And
yes,
so
that's
he
right.
repeats it.
But then the animal has it in his head and puts them together in new contexts, new phrases. And there's tremendously interesting stories like presented with a radish for the first time. Had no idea what it was. Chimp eats a radish, tastes that radish taste, and says, "Cry hurt food."
Cry hurt food.
And because that's
bitter and made
bitter. Exactly. Now that's a creative response to a new environmental situation. Or the first time the chimp saw a duck land quacking in water, looks at it and says, "Water bird," which is in fact the English phrase. Or one case where a woman who had spent a lot of time with the chimp was leaving. The chimp looked at the woman and said, "Cry me cry." Now, that is so close to what we would recognize as intelligence in children, and many hundreds of words is getting up there. Basic English is 1,000 words.
Does there come to a point, though, where between the basic words and an abstract type of emotional thing?
But that's it. They seem so close to having abstractions. In fact, in The Dragons of Eden, I have a chapter called The Abstractions of Beasts. And it's just exactly that question. There was, in fact, a debate